Recall Democrat Oakland mayor Sheng Thao indicted on federal corruption charges. Now, I know many of you want me to be saying the super mayor, Tiffany Henard, has been indicted, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Oakland, California. Let's check it out.
Published reports that a federal grand jury has indicted former Oakland Mayor Sheng Thao and her longtime partner, Andre Jones. This comes 7 months after the FBI raided Tao's home. NBC bearers Valina Jones joins us live with what city leaders and the people who supported the effort to remove Thao from office are saying this evening.
Well, Jessica, the San Francisco Chronicle is citing sources reporting that Thao has been indicted. Meanwhile, the Mercury News is reporting that her partner, Andre Jones, has been indicted. We should note that the FBI has not confirmed any of these indictments, but we do know that this comes after months of investigation and speculation. Now, this all started back in June when the FBI...
Remember this?
Then Mayor Sheng
From that house?
Taking away several boxes. The same day, agents raided the homes and businesses of multiple members of the Duong family who own Cow Waste Solutions, an Oakland recycling contractor. Jones have repeatedly denied any wrongdoing. Thao also publicly stressed that she was not the target of any investigation. The then mayor also publicly criticized the FBI for the timing of the raid, noting it happened amid a growing push to recall her from office. Those recall efforts ultimately succeeded. Those reports of Tao's indictment have recall organizers celebrating and have some members of city council concerned about potential impacts to the integrity of city business.
Shocked, disappointed, but absolutely maintaining my commitment to moving us out of this mess and doing all that I can to restore the people's trust. And that's going to need a whole lot of elected officials and appointed officials on board if we're serious about making that happen.
We've known for a while that we've alleged that we believe that Sheng Thao is a deeply corrupt individual. And my thought is that Oakland owes us a debt of gratitude. Imagine if she was still the mayor of Oakland. At least now she's no longer the mayor of Oakland.
I agree with him, but I also disagree with him. To have a mayor, an elected official, get indicted on these charges, that would have been podcast for days. We would have been covering. We've been covering this, right? So yes, 1,000 thanks to getting Sheng Thao out of there, but that was because she was doing such a crappy job anyway, just terrible. But that's who you elected. You elected a super progressive. Let's go down this road. This is going to be great. It's going to be better than all the other Democrats that have been elected here before me. How's that working out? So people that elected her just recalled her, and then wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. She gets federal indictment for corruption charges. Not good.
Already well underway in picking a new leader.
Last July, the city of Oakland was ordered to hand over records tied to the city contracts with California Waste Solutions, along with a group called Evolutionary Homes, and documents tied to Tao's partner, Andre Jones. That subpoena also demanded records tied to the 2022 mayoral election.
Sheng Thao.
The U.S. Attorney's Office and federal officials announced they will hold a press conference tomorrow morning to detail what they're calling a significant law enforcement action. Tonight, many believe that's when we'll hear more about both Thao and her partner's indictments. Now, we've reached out to the city as well as Mayor Thao and her last known representation and Andre Jones and have not heard back yet.
If you're enjoying this content, you want to support this channel, here's how you can do that. Become a member of reasonabletv.com. What do I get for this, Sean? For $3.99 a month, you get a couple of extra videos, podcasts per week that you're not going to find anywhere else because they've got content that's a little sketchy. Here's one in point. Pimp shootout. This is in Seattle. Uber hero saves trafficked woman. Woman got trafficked from California to a house here in South Seattle. She's running around. She jumps out of the pimp's car. She gets loose. She literally jumps into the car of what happened to be an Uber driver. Uber driver has a handgun. He is got a concealed weapon permit. He starts shooting back at the pimp. Pimp kind of goes away. They catch the pimp. He's in jail. Yeah. Crazy stories like that. Check it out. Let's get into the charges because I think so many people that follow my channel and I get comments every single day Why isn't this person in prison? Why haven't they already been indicted? Because it takes a long time, and it's got to be a wildly obvious set of connections for the FBI to basically come in and go, all right, yep, we're going to, go through this person's house. We're going to go through that person's house. Because if they're doing that, they've already got the case in place. They're not going to go after a big case like this unless they've got most of their facts in place. FBI went after Mayor Tiffany Henard, the super mayor, long time ago, but went after a bunch of other folks as well. And we're kind of waiting to hear on that one. But this one here has been pretty definitive because I think it was a cut and dried case. Former Oakland, California Mayor Sheng Thao was recalled by voters in November, indicted. In addition to Thao, the Justice Department charged her boyfriend, Andre Jones, the head of the local waste company. So you got a waste company, right? David Trung Dong and Dong's son, Andy Hong Dong. October 2022, Thao allegedly agreed to extend a city recycling service contract. We've got pay for play, people. We will pay you. You got to keep the contract. Oh yeah. So you got a pay for play contract with California Waste Solutions. It's part of the Dong family. That's the first one. Purchase housing units from the Dongs. That's the housing building company that we heard mentioned in the video. And use her influence to help them. Help me, help you. Help me, help you. Right, Jerry Maguire? Jerry! Show me the money. Examples of promises allegedly made by Thao included her agreement to purchase housing units from a company owned by the Dong family, her agreement to ensure the extension of a contract for recycling services the city of Oakland had with the Dong family, and her agreement to use influence to help appoint a high-level city official to benefit the Dong's business interests. The Dongs made payments to Thao and Jones, including funding a $75,000 negative mailer campaign targeting her political rivals. Dongs also made $300,000 in payments to the Thao and Jones disguised as wages for a no-show job for Jones. Oh, doesn't have to show up. That sounds like a Hunter Biden with the laptop deal, right? Mr. Biden, do you speak Hungarian? No. Do you know anything about the energy industry, Mr. Biden? Nope. So you can't speak the language. You don't know anything about it. But hey, let's pay you $1 million. Let's pay you 83 big ones a month, 83,000 a month, 10% for the big guy. How about that? This is exactly that kind of deal. 300,000 for a no-show job. The guy didn't have to show up. Now, the problem is they got caught. Now, so those charges are wildly different than the charges, if any, that will be made of Mayor Tiffany Henard, period. Because what you've got there is you've got spending choices that are questionable. 44 grand, Tiffany Henard in a couple of days on Amazon. All right. Who made those purchases? What were they for? Can they legit come up with something? Tiffany Henard went to Vegas, right? Spent a bunch of city money or township money on a trip to Vegas. All right. Okay. Can they spin that as, well, it was an economic development trip and we went to Vegas because of this, and this. It is not there. Tiffany Henard is not being accused of this kind of literal outright bribery. She's being accused of mismanaging spending. That's essentially what it comes down to. Now, Tiffany Henard might have an issue with her charity being funded by the Township of Thornton. So maybe you've got some commingling of funds there. Maybe you've got some of that, but not to the tune of $300K. And, not this outright bribery deal going on. Payments were made to look as if Jones had a legitimate job with the Dong's housing company to cover up the bribery. We're going to give you money, but we're going to cover it by saying you have a job. Now, so they go to the company. So, a picture of the dude who's getting paid who doesn't show up. You ever seen this gentleman? Do you know who he is? Has he ever been on site? Has he ever been, to a job site? What's his job? Those kind of things. The FBI has already gone down that road, and they basically had the case. Before they get into a case like this, they've got a good idea that they're going to get this case done and closed, meaning these people go to jail. After getting elected, Thao fulfilled her promise to use her influence to appoint an Oakland City official selected by the Duongs to protect the family's business investments. The indictment itself is chock full of allegations, but it's not chock full of evidence, Thao's attorney said Friday. I thought it was super interesting when the FBI was basically raiding all the homes involved here. Thao said, this has nothing to do with me. It's got nothing to do with me. She was trying to, flick off the pressure while she had the recall event going on. We'd like to recall you because you're doing such a poor job. It is difficult. It is difficult to get recalled in a city like Oakland for doing a bad job. So you've really, really got to be doing an absolutely crappy job if you get recalled in Oakland. That's how bad a job Sheng Thao was doing. But you know what? She was elected to do a bad job. That's the kind of politician she is. Democrat, progressive, relying upon her race to kind of smooth things over. We're just going to make this go. Just gonna, I'm gonna bribe you, do a little pay for play, yeah, we'll give you a job. Of course we'll give you a job. We'll give you the hookup. The charges came months after the FBI raided a home linked to Thao. Yeah, that's been a quick one. That's a quick turnaround. In a statement to San Francisco, Winston Chan, an attorney for Andy Duong, said the allegations against his client have no merit. Well, FBI doesn't raid people's homes with zero merit. They've got to have something kind of going on, especially somebody as arguably influential at one point in time as the mayor of Oakland. Talk about things going sideways in Oakland. You lose the Raiders, you lose the A's, everybody moves out. Your town just becomes a dumpster fire. You have got absolute crime spiking. And defund the police, a whole bunch of just Democrat nonsense. And then this. It just seems fitting, doesn't it? We have kept quiet despite the media frenzy of the past months in the hope that the government would correctly come to see through objective investigation. The allegations are baseless and being fanned by nothing more than gossip and supposition stitched together by the fabrications and delusions of those who lack all fundamental credibility, said Chan. That's the attorney for Andy. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, Mr. Chan, I don't know. When you get indicted for that kind of behavior, odds are you're guilty. But disappointingly, Andy instead is today the most recent in a long line of Asian Americans who unfairly are singled out and forced to pay a price for daring to be active in the political sphere, he added. We look forward to clearing his good name before the court and a jury of his peers. Well, yeah, trial will do that for you, right? Nah, they're going to cut a deal. Nobody's going to trial. They're not going to trial. They're going to cut a deal. They always cut a deal. Nobody wants to go to trial on this. I'd love to see a trial. Let's get it all right out in the open. Instead, it'll be some kind of deal where, you get a slap on the wrist or it does a couple of years, something like that. Each of them do a couple of years. Sheng Thao, fall from grace, was once elected official in one of the biggest North American cities, rife with crime. That narrative it'll just keep going. This is yet another example of Democrat leadership absolutely going sideways, isn't it? That's what it is. That's what you've got going on. I cover Tiffany Henard. We covered this. There's a bunch more of these out there, but these are kind of some of the more high profile ones. And Sheng Thao, particularly high profile because this happened simultaneously as she was being recalled. Look at Mayor Karen Bass in Los Angeles right now. Petition demanding LA Mayor Karen Bass resign over fire response reaches over 152,000 signatures. So they've got enough to start that recall campaign. Whether or not that'll go through, I think California fire officials had some of the most, they were least prepared for a big event that could have been easily predicted. The winds were literally predicted. Meanwhile, Karen Bass, our, person of interest on this article, was in Ghana. Yeah, in Ghana, meeting up with a politician she had never met. Meanwhile, you've got the weather services saying we're going to have some massive fires, wildfires, probability could happen. Meanwhile, Karen Bass is Ghana, Africa. So, is this shocking that Mayor Sheng Thao is indicted? No, not at all. These rumors have just been floating around out there. So, leadership, Democrats. Yeah, got a lot to go over. This is an ongoing theme, isn't it? Yeah, I can't say that there aren't Republicans out there that, have done some stupid things, got caught and been busted for things, but just not on the scale of the big progressive liberals, Democrats in the big blue cities. That is the epidemic that is ongoing, and we shall continue to cover what's going to happen to Sheng Thao. Gets a few years, gets a big fine, prohibited from being in office again, something like that. That'll be my prediction. All right, that's it for me. Thanks so much for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.